Hey, this is Shaun with the GoTennis Podcast, powered by Signature Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com. And today, right now, is 10 minutes of tennis with world-renowned tennis coach, Australian and Puerto Rico, Justin Yeo. Today, we are asking the question, what's next for Novak? Justin, let's have a conversation about Novak Djokovic. Where do you want to start?
Okay. Will he hit number 25 at the Australian Open? Big question, big doubt whether his knee can handle it, but the spirit is there to do it. So that will be physically is pretty much, I think, the question.
Okay, so physically, can he win another major? Is that the question? Are we talking about, is he capable of just winning the next one? Because we're time stamping this conversation to say, hey, this is November of 2024. We're talking about the upcoming Australian Open.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one he's been the most successful in. So it's just appropriate. I'm wearing all the right colors and the right shirt for it. But my suggestion that he has the spirit and then he's wanting it. You can see he wants it. I just don't know physically. You know, it's the same injury as as Federer. And we saw Federer just try again. So let's hope he's got the spirit for it. There's no question. But physically, to beat Senna, Alcaraz, these guys, it's going to be very interesting, especially after we take a break. They're going to be physically in good shape, ready to go by the Australian Open.
Yeah, because you got these 21, 22-year-olds, they're seemingly infinite energy in the same way that Novak and Rafa were 15, 20 years ago, right? So in this case, they're not worried about resting in the same way he was, where he qualifies. I mean, how often does that often happen? He qualifies for the year-end final and just doesn't play? Is it injury or is that rest?
Yeah, I mean, look, the key factor here too we have to realize is that Novak is he's not in the shadow of the other two anymore as well. So I feel like he's got a new image, a new direction, and wants to be in I guess I would say the top of the top of the show right now for a little bit of time. But I just think the spirit is there. I think he's going to really go for it. And the reason why I say it's next year is because a year from then, who knows? You know, another whole year of the strength of the tour and how much he has to play and keep up to stay in the top 5, top 10. I think it's a pretty grueling year ahead for him, and the Australian Open will be his biggest fire, I'd say, at the start.
Well, let's compare a little bit. If we look at how Roger went out, I think he didn't push it too far, right, where maybe Andy Murray was like kind of pushing it too far, realizing, hey, what are you going to do? If you can't make the top 50, you kind of give it up. We talked about Dominic Thiem recently. Guys just really trying. Cilic is trying to come back. I get it. But guys at the top of the game, we can't all go out. They can't all go out at the top like Ash Barty or Pete Sampras comes out, bang, I'm going to win one more, and then I'm out. You know, mic drop kind of scenario. What do you picture for Novak? You think, what type of person is he? Is he a grind it out? Do you think he's going to say, if I'm out of the top 10, I'm not going to bother?
Yeah, that's a hard one to answer because we've all talked about it, and it's been talked about a lot in the press. And you know, your best answers are going to come from pros, and even the pros would tell you that if you've still got the hunger, you're back in. You know, I mean, Leighton Hewitt just kept going and going and going because Leighton had it in his head that I'm just going to the job, and as long as the job keeps paying me, I'll just keep doing the job. So he just kept going. It wasn't about necessarily titles. It was about competing and just doing the job. So I think each player looks at it a little different. Pete didn't want to see himself, fall into the hundreds and say, I just want to keep going. He wanted to finish on top, and that's how he did it.
You think that's a personality trait?
Yeah, I think the player has their choice and their time. And, Roger has said it in his thing, right? He wanted to go out in his own way, in his own thing. We all had a feeling, though, that he said he was never leaving the game. That we thought, maybe he'll just come back like everybody else does, But Well, we haven't seen that, so I don't think so. But yeah, Novak, I think he just wants the choice to go when he wants to go, and it's hard because it's the same conversation every time. As soon as he gets a loss, or as soon as someone else wins another title, like, oh, Novak, are you done? It's like, no, stop talking that way. Good to hear. I heard a good conversation with Kyrgios too lately. Like, he talks about, you just want to be able to do it your own way. You don't want to have to be driven by everyone's comments and everything else. Kyrgios has multiple times, I think, tried to come back and is always thinking about it. But who knows exactly how he feels, what he feels. They don't really say where they're at because, that's their world. That's what they want to do, So with Novak, I just think he's come out of the two other shadows, and he's really showing some maturity lately as an idol, as a player that really is meaning something in the world now of tennis. He's so much more mature, the way he speaks, the way he represents himself. So I don't know. Maybe it's a couple more years we get out of him.
That would be nice. I like that. And I heard you mentioned Kyrgios. I heard Kyrgios is playing Brisbane this year, so I think he's gonna give it a go there. Now it'll be interesting to see how much further. But do they learn a little bit from Rafa? Rafa takes a year off, and you just can't get the wheels spinning at that point once you've been out that long.
Yeah, but Rafa had, like, he has 4 injuries for at least 10, 15 years. I mean,
Yeah, he's just be able to keep his injuries going forever, right?
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not talking about a couple of years. We're talking about over a decade. I mean, the taping and all the issues were back in 2009 when he beat Federer the first time at the Australian Open, and he's been battling all that stuff for a long time. That's
right.
one
I'm just talking about the traction, the momentum that it takes to play at that level, to play 5 sets.
Yep.
It's not just you take a year off, now I'm healthy, and you jump right back in. You're
Right.
unseeded, you're untested, you're not used to it. It's just a different thing.
Yep, absolutely. And it's hard to watch too when you see a player come back that just isn't fully right there like we used to see, And you have to realize too. I mean, Craig Shaughnessy, there's a lot of proof lately that you can see the difference in velocity, the speed of the racket, the earliness that players are picking up on the ball and hitting the ball faster and harder, which basically means Nadal has to be quicker and faster and stronger. And how do you get stronger and faster at the age of 37?
Yeah, that's not how humans work.
It isn't. And I mean, you can bring up Tom Brady. What did he do? He shortened the pitch. He shortened the throws. He made his game around his age.
Team sports is a bit apples and oranges there, but I get your point.
Right. But it's hard to do on an individual sport, on a sport this level. So yeah, I would say the way the sport has grown, that sort of outgrew Rafa, so to speak.
For sure.
Djokovic, what's held him good is his, flexibility, his determination, his, dedication to the sport too, that he just every day keeps doing what he does. As long as he stays fit, he'll always be there to compete in the top 5. There's no question. So it's how long he wants to do that for.
All right, well, that's the last question that I have for you. Not necessarily how long. I'm not going to ask when he's going to retire, but your view of Novak and how you picture him and what you think, how he works. What's his ranking in his mind? If he hits a certain ranking, what's his ranking when he retires? Rafa retired at like 150 in the world, where he tried to come back, it didn't work. Everybody has that, not everybody can do the Ash Barty and be number 1 when they go out. I don't picture Novak getting back to 1 in the world. I'll bet he does. I'll bet he thinks that he's still got that and he can pull that off. What do you think, Justin Yeo, my journalistic side? What's his ranking when he retires?
16.
16 is a good number. I'm okay
So
with it.
He'll creep out of the top 10, heading towards the 20s. But I don't know. I'm picking 16 only because he'll have to be seriously injured. Yeah. And it'll slowly, you won't have that protection anymore. That's the only way. Otherwise, you only have to look at the top 10 and as long as he's somewhat fit, he'll beat most of them.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to take the over on that one. I will
Okay.
take the over. I think he will be. Let's see, which one is over in the ranking? Over, under?
yeah, over
I
is
don't know.
16.
I'll take the over. I think he's going to be ranked above 16
Okay,
instead of below 16.
all right.
And we'll follow up. We'll have this conversation in a year, and we'll see if he's number one in the world. We're probably both wrong, right?
Yeah. Well, I hope for the game of tennis because,
Yep.
having a player like that and the capabilities and what he does and what he brings, we need it for the sport, no doubt.
I agree. Justin Yeo, this has been 10 Minutes of Tennis. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.